Wish you all a very, very lovely day, children. I hope you all are studying well, but I can find that most of you are not viewing the videos of social science. So this does not make sense as we take a lot of trouble to prepare the videos and write down notes for you all. So hope, children, that you will take your studies quite seriously. So today I will start from where I had left the previous day. The previous day we have done that what items were exported from India, what the British exported. The British had forced our farmers to grow indigo, which totally exploited the soil. The soil became totally unfit for growing food grains. Then we came to the topic that why the subsidies are necessary for our farmers and what is happening due to the stoppage of these subsidies. That is, our farmers are unable to compete with the international farmers. Most of the farmers of our country are small and marginal farmers who cannot adopt the modern technology and who find it very difficult to compete with international agricultural products, and so our farmers are at crossroads. Indian agriculture finds itself at total crossroad. They are puzzled, the farmers are puzzled as to what to do. There is minimum employment generation in this sector, although so far we have found that a huge section of our community earning from it, but the income from this sector is gradually declining. But our country also introduced several reforms. The reforms were in the form of institutional reforms so that the farmers can get the maximum benefit. They were also in the form of technical reforms. Now this technical reforms introduced green revolution in our country, but the green revolution came under lot of criticism by the environmentalists. No doubt the green revolution increased the productivity of some of the crops. The green revolution greatly helped us to create a buffer stock of food grains. The green revolution ensured food security in the country, but it created a lot of criticism from the environmentalists. So first let us see what are the criticism of the green revolution. So the first most important criticism is that it led to a total loss of biodiversity in the croplands, that is the farmlands, and also in the wildlands. Why biodiversity? Loss of biodiversity because there was too much of use of chemicals in the fields. The pesticides that were used killed many small weeds which may be beneficial, many small insects which were beneficial, which enriched the soil fertility directly or indirectly. So it created a total loss of biodiversity. Hence what happened? It reduced the soil quality as the same crops were repeatedly grown on the soil. The farmers were very much happy with the successful harvest of one crop, and they thought that if every year they are growing that crop, they will have a very rich harvest. But it is not so, because a single crop will deplete a certain kind of soil nutrients. And what happened? Finally, the soil lacked some of the nutrients which was utilized by a particular crop. In fact, it led to the non-sustainability of the soil. It requires the use of non-sustainable agricultural methods to achieve higher yields like pesticides, nitrates. Why non-sustainable? Because they are harmful for the environment. So green revolution requires that we must use more and more quantities of fertilizers and pesticides, and they are non-sustainable agricultural products or inputs. They are non-sustainable agricultural inputs because they are not very much beneficial for the soil. Then children, we have found that a lot of pesticides and chemicals are entering into our body system, that is the human being's body. Many times children, some of these pesticides does not just get removed from the product even after repeated washing. Some of the chemicals are very harsh, so these chemicals are very much harmful not only for the environment but also for the human health. Similarly, the farmers who are applying these pesticides or the chemicals, they are also getting exposed to continuous use of them. So it may also cause cancer, not only for the people who are consuming the food without proper washing them, but apart from that, the farmers who are using them continuously getting exposed to these fertilizers and pesticides, which are very harmful chemicals, and they also expose themselves to these cancers. Very recently it has found that there has been a lot of increase of this disease among the human beings. So what is very much required is washing the vegetables, the crops that we consume, but many times it is not possible. You will be surprised to know children, in case of cashew, the pesticide is sprinkled from above, and that is using helicopters. Cashew plantations are made free of pest. So every time when we are consuming cashew, we are not washing the cashew, children. Similarly, there are many dry fruits which we are consuming, and they are containing different kinds of pesticides. They are very much harmful for us. Once, it was been found out by research that in Kerala, in a village, most of the children, 99% of the children who were taking birth, they were having birth defects. So there was a lot of care taken of the mothers, but still it was found that the babies were born with birth defects. When research was done, it was found out that the soil and the underground water table of that area is containing so much of pesticides in it that the crop itself has become polluted. So when the mothers are consuming those vegetables or the crops, then indirectly through the mother, the fetus or the baby which has not taken birth is getting infected, and when that child is taking birth, he or she is having birth defects. Then it has also been found out that there are some agricultural losses also in the post-harvest season, that is after harvest, especially during processing, transporting and storing. Generally what used to happen, children, previously the farmers used to be content by selling in the local market. Now what we do, we are selling it to distant markets also. We are transporting the products to the distant market. This is also creating some amount of losses. Then as you know, the chemicals are being used, the pesticides are being used, or the fertilizers are being used, gradually the plants are becoming more and more resistant to these pesticides, because suppose if you continuously consume a particular drug, you will find at a certain point of time we will require much more stronger drugs. Like suppose we are taking any antibiotic, and suddenly suppose Every time if you are falling sick and you are taking that drug, at a certain point of time you will find that your body is not responding to it and you will require higher doses. So similarly, the plants also become resistant to these pesticides and the chemicals that are being used on them, and after that they will require higher doses, which means more harm to the environment and human health. Then the farmers sometimes do not follow this crop rotation. In crop rotation, what happens? The soil fertility is again regained by growing of the leguminous crop. But here the farmers adopt monocropping, that is, they start growing the same crop variety, which is also not very good for the soil. So natural soil fertility renewability is minimum. The soil is made fertile by application of chemical fertilizers. Then of course green revolution requires more investment in irrigation, because the HYB seeds are used which require more water supply. Chemicals are used, that is the pesticide, which requires more water application, so it requires more investment. So we find that the rich farmers are able to afford that and the poor farmers are unable to afford that. So it creates a type of inequality among the farmers. Then dependence on fertilizers, subsidies and its application have largely salinized the soil. It has totally destroyed the soil, and many areas are now being converted into wasteland due to too much of use of this high grade fertilizers and the pesticides. The soil fertility has totally declined. Then overuse and overdrawing of groundwater, as I said that too much of water is required. So apart from supply of water through the irrigation canal, the underground water or the well water is also utilized for supplying or applying water to the fields, and this had greatly reduced the underground water table, that is, it has depleted our aquifer. Aquifer is the bed of sedimentary rock that holds water. One thing must be clear to you all children, that igneous rock do not hold water. It is the sedimentary rock that holds water. So the layer or the bed of rock that holds water is termed as aquifer. So our aquifers are the water table below the surface. So our aquifers are drying up, the biodiversity is vanishing, and so today the new concept is gene revolution. So now, what is this gene revolution? So what is the solution of this ultimate disadvantage of green revolution? So your book says that the key word today is gene revolution, which includes genetic engineering. And genetic engineering is recognized as a powerful supplement in inventing new hybrid varieties of seeds. Now this genetic engineering in fact does research with the original genes of any particular crop, and they alternate the genes. They do a mix and match of the genes and they produce a new variety of crop. And here they are taking the help of biotechnology to produce these new varieties of crop. Of course, these new varieties of crop are said to have some qualities over the previous varieties, and they will greatly support the food security of the country. So if we want to define this genetic engineering and production of crops, it includes the gene revolution, that is the direct manipulation of an organism's genes by using biotechnology. So when it is organism, it can be animals, it can be plants, it can be anything. So genetically modified crops are produced by altering the genes, and these genetically modified crops were first commercialized on a wide scale, on a large scale in the early 1990s, that is in the first part of 1990s. So what are the advantage of this genetically modified crops? So the most important advantages is that it provides us with a disease free planting material. That means that the seed that is developed will produce such a variety of crop that will be able to resist any kind of pest or disease, that is any kind of attack by the insects or the pest. That means there will be no use of pesticide on the crop. So that means it reduces the use of the chemicals that harms both the environment as well as human health. So this is the most important advantage of this genetically modified crops, is that the crops will be able to have a better endurance capacity. They will not be easily attacked by the pest, by the insects or any kind of disease, and so it will reduce the expenditure that the farmer takes to buy those insecticides. It will reduce the damage of the health that is done to the human beings when we are consuming the earlier varieties of crops. The genetically modified crops are thus environment friendly. However, it is not only limited to the crops. This genetically modified or genetic engineering will also produce, or in fact it is producing, vaccines that will control animal disease. We all know that the human beings take vaccine against certain diseases, especially those diseases which spread through virus. Nowadays you all know that we are trying to produce a vaccine that will help us to fight against coronavirus. So similarly, the animals are also affected by different kind of diseases, and they are controlled by the use of vaccine. So biotechnology also involves the development of certain vaccines which will help to control devastating animal diseases. Now this is very important, children. Why? Because animal husbandry forms a part of our agricultural sector. Apart from this capacity of the seeds or the crops, the crops that will be produced will be of better quality. They will be having a better aroma, they will be having a better color, and they will also help us to produce a defined range of health and industrial products that will be beneficial for us. Like for example, from maize we are producing cornflakes. So similarly, from different kind of agricultural products, we produce different types of products. Like for example, from oil seeds we are producing these oils. From this wheat we are producing these biscuits. So whatever product will be produced, they will be less harmful for human health because there is no use of pesticides. And so that means we can undertake now organic farming. So I will teach organic farming next day, children. So today just have a look at the notes which I am adding with this video. Now first, disadvantages of green revolution. The first one, it created a lack of biodiversity in the croplands as well as in the wildlands. Second point, reduces the soil quality as same crops on the same land results in depletion of soil nutrients. Third point, it requires the use of non-sustainable agricultural methods to achieve higher yields like pesticides, nitrates, etc. It creates health impacts due to consumption of pesticides or continuous exposure to the chemical agents while working in the field, even causing cancers. It has increased agricultural losses at the post-harvest level, especially during processing, transporting, and storing. As more quantity is produced, children, so obviously the farmers will try to market to distant land, so these losses will be there when transporting and storing, because there are not too much of cold storage in our country. Sixth point, plants are becoming more resistant to pest chemical requiring higher doses. Next point, instead of crop rotation, it may promote monocropping. Next, it requires expensive investment in irrigation, water, chemicals, etc., creating inequality among the farmers. Next point, dependence on fertilizer subsidies and its application have largely salinized the soil, turning the area into wasteland. And then overuse and overdrawing of groundwater has greatly depleted our aquifers. Now next comes our gene revolution. So the first point of gene revolution is application of biotechnology in food production. Second point, it provides with disease-free planting material. Third point, develops crop that resist pest and disease. Fourth point, reduces the use of chemicals that harm the environment and human health. Next point, it provides diagnostic tools and vaccines that help control devastating animal diseases. Next point, it can also improve nutritional quality of rice, of staple food crops such as rice, and create new products for health and industrial uses. So finally, genetically modified crops were first commercialized on a wide scale in the early 1990s. Genetic engineering that includes gene revolution is the direct manipulation of an organism's genes using biotechnology. So this much, children, take down your notes, and tomorrow I will do your organic farming. Thank you, children. Have a nice day.